everybody, and welcome back to Lindsay's Little Library. So I'm here today with, one of my favorite bookish videos to make, and that would be a book haul. So these have been kind of accumulating from a number of different places. I placed a book outlet order it's been a while, in August, during our reading retreat that we did. I had some Pango books that came in. I have a couple of orders that I ordered, I had some birthday books. I've got an ARC. It's kind of a whole hodgepodge of books that I have accumulated over the last little bit. So, yeah, we're going to go through them. I'm going to share them with you. I'm pretty excited for a fair amount of them. We'll see kind of what happens and how close I get to actually reading them. I should actually go back and review like my first book hauls on my channel and give you guys stats on when I actually get books read. I don't know if I'm mentally prepared to know that information yet. Let me know if you want to know. All right, let's get started. I do want to talk about an ARC that I got in the mail not that long ago. This is The Lost Witch by Paige Crutcher. This one comes out December of this year. I'm just excited I get to have it for Halloweenish time. Ooh, my father-in-law's here. Hold on. Okay, so I'm loving the premise of this book. We have dual timelines. We have 1922 and 2022. And so in 1922, we have Bridget, who is a really powerful witch and healer, but really just longs for a child of her own. She ends up having a child with the mysterious Luke Knightley from another coven. But when their daughter falls ill, she kind of basically does anything and everything she can to save her daughter. In doing so, her daughter and herself are kind of lost to this forbidden magic that she used. Fast forward 100 years, Bridget awakens to her city under siege. She doesn't really understand how she got to this future space, but realizes she had a part to play in this and needs to team up with a couple of magical descendants, Ophelia and Finola, and really needs to go back to Luke Knightley himself in order to kind of save Evermore, this town. So I'm excited for this. Thank you to St. Martin's Press for sending this to me. Love it. Love it, love it. Next book I was given is The Paper Girl of Paris by Jordan Taylor. This was given to me for my birthday from my friend Becky. She knows me so well. Dual timelines, loving that aspect of it as always. So we have 16-year-old Alice in Harrod's apartment in Paris. It's been locked for over 70 years. Of course, she's going to open it up. She's determined to discover why its existence was hidden from her family for so long. The more time she spends digging through the mysteries of the past, the more she realizes there are secrets in the present that her family is still refusing to talk about. So we have what happened in the past to lock up this apartment. Since the Nazis invaded France, Adeline has been determined to do something. When she meets Luke, the dashing leader of a resistance group, Adeline feels she finally has a chance to fight back, even if it means risking her safety, her reputation, and her relationship for the people she loves. And we get both timelines. We're gonna, I'm sure, figure out how they're connected. It sounds fantastic. And I'm just loving this cover. Thank you for not putting a woman with her back to us on it. Jordan Taylor, I'm sure you had no influence, but I'm loving it. All right, next pile of books I've kind of picked up randomly. I grabbed The Final Gambit by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is the last game in the Inheritance Games trilogy. I have The Hawthorne Legacy on my shelf to read for Series September. I'm not sure if I'm getting to it, but I have a feeling once I do read that, I'm gonna wanna read this right away and just kind of see how things finish. So I'm excited for it. I did pre-order The Butcher and the Wren. This is by Elena Urquhart. She is one of the co-hosts of Morbid. It's a podcast that I've been absolutely obsessed with lately and I'm loving, and she wrote a book. I don't know much about it. It is a brutal serial killer. It goes against a medical examiner as there's a pulse-pounding race against time. We'll see what happens, but I'm excited to read this book and support Elena. Again, the Morbid podcast is fantastic. I'm loving it. Can't wait to get to this one, and it's fairly short, so this could easily be probably accomplished in a weekend. I picked up Hidden Pictures by Jason Brooklick, something like that. This was talked about at book club. It is a thriller, and there are pictures in here that a child is drawing. throughout the book that just continue to get more and more disturbing. It's kind of the premise behind it. I don't know much more other than I've heard it's fantastic, so I grabbed that book. Also picked up Get Out of Your Head by Jenny Allen. It's a Stop the Spiral of Toxic Thoughts. I'm just really taking this year to try to get better at getting better for myself. One of the things I really struggle with is my own self-dialogue, and so I'm hoping to kind of help myself along on that journey by reading this book. Again, heard really great things about this, and I love that it is an interactive journey when I get to it. So my goal is to read it before the end of the year. Then I picked up this book by Bianca Maris. This is her newest release. It just came out. It is The Witches of Moonshine Manor. It's a little bit different than her typical, or her last two books, I should say. So we have 5 witches who are in their 80s, and they gather as an angry mob threatens to demolish their Moonshine Manor. They all look to Queenie, who confesses they've fallen behind on their mortgage payments. Whoops. Still there's hope, since the imminent return of Ruby, one of the sisterhood who's been gone for 33 years, will surely be their salvation. But the mob is only the start of their troubles. One man is hell-bent on avenging his family for the theft of a legacy he claims was rightfully his. Sounds like these witches get themselves into a bit of a bind, and yeah, I love this. The witches are determined to save their home and themselves, but their aging powers are no match for the increasingly malice threats. Thankfully, they get a bit of help from a feisty TikToker eager to smash the patriarchy. As the deadline to save the manor approaches, fractures amongst the sisterhood are revealed, and long-held secrets are exposed. I don't know, it just sounds glorious and very much a witchy, Halloween-y book to read, and I love this cover. So, all right, on to the book outlet box. I took advantage of their $5.99 sale, and it had some points to use. And I don't know why I'm giving reasons. This is just how it is. So continuing on our witchy theme, I picked out The Lighthouse Witches by C.J. Cook. 2 sisters go missing on a remote Scottish island. 20 years later, one of them is found, but she's still the same age as she was when she disappeared. The secrets of witches have reached across the centuries in this chilling gothic thriller from this acclaimed author that wrote The Nesting. So I just like, what? They just came back and they're exactly the same age, even though it's 20 years ago. Like, what? I need to know more. So that's all I read, and that's what made me put it in the cart. Again, there's a theme here. Not the Witch You Wed. This is by April Asher. More of a rom-com witchy story is what this one's about. So I've got a variety for this October. I think I'm set. I think I just told you my TBR for October, which is fine. I did pick up a copy of We Are the Brennans by Tracy Lang because I have no clue where my copy went, and then all of a sudden I found it after I got this. So this may go into like a giveaway pile, or maybe I'll list it on Pango, which I do have some books on Pango, and I'll put the link below for that. But more of a family drama type of book here, which I've heard really great things about, and I really wanted to read, and then I couldn't find my book. I don't know, book hoarder problems maybe? Anyways, next one I grabbed is Pack Up the Moon by Kristen Higgins. I've been wanting to read a Kristen Higgins book. I'm loving how floppy this is. It's just great. So we have Josh and Lauren. They're the perfect couple, newly married, wildly in love. Each is a successful and rewarding career path, but Lauren's diagnosed with a terminal illness. As her disease progresses, Josh struggles to make the most of the time he has left with his wife and to come to terms with his future without the only woman he's ever loved. He's so consumed with finding a way to avoid the inevitable ending that he never imagines his life after Lauren. But Lauren has a plan to keep her husband moving forward, a plan hidden in the letters she leaves him. In these letters, one for every month in the year after her death, she leads Josh on a journey through pain, anger, and denial. It's a journey that will take Josh from his attempt at a dinner party for family and friends to getting rid of their bed. Sounds like P.S. I Love You-ish, but role reversal. So I feel like this could make me cry, but that's okay. I'm excited. Can you be excited for a book you know is going to make you cry? I don't know. All right, another couple of books I picked up. We have An Extraordinary Union. This is by Alyssa Cole. Again, I'm really looking forward to reading some more Civil War based historical fiction. So this one takes place in 1861. We have Elle Burns as a foremost slave with a passion for justice. She's also possesses a photographic memory. Love it. She has the rare fortune, a human right, to live a free life, but to spy for the Union Army. She's willing to risk the brutal indignity of the slave system deeply entrenched in the South. It sounds like she is ready to basically go through with whatever mission she needs to help this along, so I'm excited to read about this one. I haven't heard a lot about it, to be honest, so we'll see. Next one I picked up, Woman with Her Back to Us. The Physicist's Daughter by Mary Anna Evans. This, again, World War II historical fiction. So we have New Orleans, 1944. There's a factory worker. Her name is Justine Burns. She is repeatedly called to weld machine parts that keep failing with no clear cause. Could someone inside the secretive carbon division be deliberately undermining the factory's war efforts? Raised by her late parents to think logically, she also can't help wondering just what the oddly shaped carbon gadgets that she assembles every day, what they're for. So she kind of joins in on figuring out if there's a bit of a sabotage thing going on. So it does take place during World War II, but it does take place in the United States. So a different little take on it. Sounds really interesting. I do have a pile of books that I purchased because of the reading retreat that we held in August. These were all talked about during that or recommended during that, so of course I added them to the cart. I have Homegoing by Gyazi. This one we have Ghana in the 18th century. Two half-sisters are born into different villages, each unaware of the other one. One will marry an Englishman and lead a life of comfort, and the other will be captured in a raid in her village and imprisoned in the very same castle and sold into slavery. So it follows both of their lives in parallel and what kind of happened to them. I've heard it's fantastic. I'm excited for that. Next one I have is Yukon Wild by Beth Johnson. This one seems a little off, but when it was talked about during the reading retreat, I needed to get my hands on it. It is 4 women who paddled 2,000 miles through America's last frontier in Alaska. So I don't know, it just, the way she was talking about it was just, you couldn't put it down. So we're gonna add this to my nonfiction pile, and I may have already started reading the beginning of it and I'm already enjoying it. So we'll see what happens. Next one is, this pile's gonna fall over. Next one is Be Frank With Me. This is Julia Claiborne Johnson. So we have, I don't like it when they don't put what it is. Okay, so we have Mimi, who is a reclusive literary legend. She wrote Pulitzer and National Book Award winning novels at 19, hasn't been seen or heard from much since that. Ironically, she lives in a glass mansion in Bel Air, lost all her money in a Ponzi scheme, and needs to write another novel. So her publisher sends her Alice. She is the editorial assistant, 25 years old, highly competent, and thinks she's going to be typing up pages and delivering cups of coffee. Instead, she finds her job is to be the companion to Frank. This is Mimi's 9-year-old son, a boy with the intellect of Albert Einstein and the wardrobe of a 1930s movie star, top hat included, and very little in common with his fellow 4th graders, about to give Alice the education of her life. So it really just follows her son. And his name's Frank. I don't know. I got roped into it and I'm kind of loving it. Next book I picked up is for Max and I to read together. This is Al Capone Does My Shirts. It's a tale from Alcatraz. I believe it's a part of a series, I want to say, by Jennifer Choldenko. So this one follows, let's see, Moose Flanagan. His family just moved to Alcatraz, the infamous island that's home to criminals such as Machine Gun Kelly and Al Capone. Doesn't actually get to meet the cons, but he does meet Piper Williams, the warden's daughter, who comes up with so many schemes that she might as well be a criminal herself, which I'm loving. Now Moose has to try to fit in at his new school, avoid getting caught up in Piper's countless plots, and keep an eye on his sister Natalie, who's not like other kids. All Moose wants to do is stay out of trouble, but in Alcatraz, trouble is never very far away. So and it is part of the series. So we have Al Capone Does My Shirts, Al Capone Shines My Shoes, Al Capone Does My Homework, and Al Capone Throws Me a Curve. But I heard it was great. Max and I are always looking for some fun books to read, so I bought that one. The next one I picked up, was this? I think this was mentioned during the retreat, is The Witch Hunter by Max C, or I maybe saw it on Instagram. So it's the shocking murder of an affluent Helsinki suburb a shocking murder in an affluent Helsinki suburb has ties to witchcraft and the occult in this thrilling US debut. I don't know much else other than some people have told me it's like one of the creepiest books they've read. So I'm here for it. All right, what else? Oh, adding to the creepiness, I picked up The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. Again, my goal every October is to scare the crap out of myself, and I'm thinking this book will probably do it. We'll see. I picked up another book by Matt Haig. I enjoyed Midnight at the Midnight Library. So I picked up How to Stop Time. So we have a 41-year-old Tom. He has a rare condition. He's been alive for centuries. From performing with Shakespeare to sharing cocktails with F. Scott Fitzgerald, Tom has seen a lot, but now over 400 years of reinventing himself to escape detection, he just wants an ordinary life. The one rule he has to follow is don't fall in love. Well, I'm assuming Tom is going to fall in love and things are going to get all messed up and it's going to be fantastic. I picked up The Guilt Trip by Sandy Jones, and they sent me both the hardcover and the paperback. I looked at my receipt. I did not. I only bought one. So one of these might go in my giveaway pile or on Pango. We'll see. But don't know much about it. Don't want to know much about it. It's going to be fantastic. Isolated thriller is what I'm getting vibes for it. I picked up another book by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, The Lovely and the Lost. This one is, let's see, Kira vividly remembers the moment that Katie Bennett and one of her search and rescue dogs found her living alone and wild in the woods, with no memories of her previous life. Now she's adopted to the Bennett family. Kira still struggles with human interaction years later, but she excels at the family business. Together with Katie's son, Jude, and their neighbor, Free, Kira works alongside Katie to train the world's most elite search and rescue dogs. Someday, all three teenagers hope to put their skills to use, finding the lost and bringing them home. But when her estranged father arrives and asks for her help to locate a missing child, the teens find themselves in the front of the line sooner than they expected. Sounds good. Sounds so good. So, pick that one up. I picked up The Island of Missing Trees. I just, look at this cover. I think that's what drew me in. And then, again, I want to say I saw this on Instagram. Let's see. Two teenagers meet at a tavern on the island they both call home. In that tavern, hidden beneath garlands of garlic, chili peppers, and creeping honeysuckle, Codis and Daphne grow in their forbidden love for each other. A fig tree stretches through a cavity in the roof, and this tree bears witness to their hushed, happy meetings and eventually to their silent, surreptitious departures. The tree is there when war breaks out and when the capital is reduced to ashes and rubble and when the teenagers vanish. Decades later, one of them returns. He's a botanist looking for native species, but really he's searching for his lost love. Again, this cover is so good. And then this was also recommended during the reading retreat. I picked up Max Brooks's Devolution. This one is, oh, sounds so great. It says, okay, so he takes on the Bigfoot legend with a tale that blurs the lines between human and beast. So basically, Mount Rainier erupts and traps this tribe of Sasquatches. We learn about that. And I'm here for it. So that would be a good October read too. Okay, 4 left. I have The Silent Woods by Kimi Cunningham Grant. Another thriller. It says no electricity, no family, no connection to the outside world. Seems a little bit isolated, and I'm here for it. Chevy Stevens, Dark Roads. Love me some Chevy Stevens. I haven't read anything by her in quite a while, so I might have to rectify that. Again, I don't want to know much about it. I like going into Chevy Stevens books completely blind. I have The Social Graces by Renee Rosen. So 1876, glittering world of Manhattan's upper crust. Women are valued by their pedigree, dowry, and most importantly, connections. They have few rights and even less independence. What they do have is society. To the more celebrated the hostess, the more powerful the woman, and none is more powerful than Caroline Astor, the Mrs. Astor. But times are changing, and it feels fantastic. Let's see, it sweeps across 3 decades and based on true events. This is the memorizing story of 2 fascinated, complicated women going head to head, behaving badly, and discovering what's truly at stake. So we have Vanderbilts and the Astors. Oh my gosh, this is going to be good. Then I have The Shadow House by Anna Downs. This is the last book I'm talking about, I'm pretty sure. So it's a house with deadly secrets, a mother who will risk everything to bring them to life. That's all I know. That's all I'm gonna know. I'll take it. All right, so that's all I have. I know. Oh, I do have 2 more. I lied. I did pick these up from the library for my kids. So I have The Witch Boy by Molly Knox Ostertag. Both of my kids have been loving graphic novels lately, and so I thought this would be a good one to have on the shelf. Our library, the kids' books are only 50 cents, so I couldn't really pass it up. And then I have The Island of Beyond by Elizabeth Atkinson. This one is about an 11-year-old named Martin and can hardly imagine a worse summer. His dad is sending him to his great aunt's house, who lives on a tiny island called Beyond. Martin's dad wants him to like normal boy things, which is what caught my eye because I think it's good for my son to read this. So his dad wants him to play sports and explore the outdoors, but Martin's afraid he'll never be the son his dad wants him to be. Being stuck in the middle of nowhere won't change that. But nothing about Beyond is what Martin expects. Not peculiar Aunt Lenore, not mysterious Uncle Ned, and certainly not the strange local boy who unexpectedly befriends Martin. Solo can canoe and climb trees and survive on his own in the wilderness, and Martin's drawn to him in a way he doesn't quite understand. But he's not sure he can trust Solo. In fact, can he trust anything about this strange island where everyone seems to be keeping secrets? So those were the 2 I got from the library. So technically not for me, they're for the kids. It's for the kids. But I mean, for $1, I couldn't pass it up. Okay, so that is my book haul. Crazy. We're gonna take a little break from buying books, especially with the book exchange coming up that I do. So this will be the last one for quite a while, which is good because I need time to catch up. So if you have read any of these and suggest any of them, comment below. Otherwise, like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.